they are against us or not for us. Right. It's that sometimes you want life for people so badly that you can be frustrated if you don't think you are able to bring it forth in them.
It's not your work.
Right? But listen, a lot of people in ministry, they haven't been taught that. And so they actually sit in the place where they love people. And they feel frustrated if they can't get the peace in everything to come forth in people. Yep. And so then it becomes a, well, you must not be, instead of just being okay with it and saying, you know what? There's nothing wrong with you if you're feeling that way, and there's nothing wrong with me. Right. Let us come together and cry out to Abba. Yeah, right? Yeah. Because listen, people in ministry feel a great burden to try to bring forth life in people, especially in the system of Christianity that's in America now. Right? We're taught that, and so we tend to ministers tend to judge themselves by what they think they can bring forth in people's lives. Sure. That's a wrong way around it. If you live from that place, eventually you'll become upset with the ones who are suffering for an extended period of time. Right? Because you'll think either you're doing it wrong or they're doing it wrong.
You're not saying it loud enough.
Right. Listen.
You're not speaking it well. You're not. Yeah,
we don't know what people have been through, nor do we know what it's going to take to unwind it. And so sometimes with some people, they got a whole lot of darkness and suffering they've been through that has to be unwound. Right? It's not like everybody's on the same time frame. Right? And it's like, if it doesn't come forth in a year, you must not be believing. Faith without works is dead. That's what happens. Yeah. But it took, I think, Abraham 13 years in between the time he first heard God call him the father of many nations and he had Isaac. Right. And so ministers, we don't want to judge the ministers. We can judge that situation and say that wasn't the right way around it. But we want to feel great compassion for the ministers also and realize the reason they react that way is because they don't know how to deal with the burden they're carrying to try to bring forth life in people. And then they get frustrated, right? And so they're not able to just say, you know what? If this guy is still suffering and can't have peace, let me just walk with that guy where he is. And let him and I come together and let us call out to Abba, right? And that's the right way around it. And that actually, like James said so beautifully, the moment you don't feel shame that you're still lacking peace and joy, you'll call out to God. Right. You'll start talking with God about what you feel. Yeah. You'll start talking with God about your frustration. Guess what that does? It lifts it off of you. Right. And then Abba starts ministering to your heart. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Just like James described. Yeah. His life, what he just described, he's a living epistle. He's a living epistle. Mm-hmm. But so many times in ministry, we think if a person's depressed, they're choosing to be depressed. Yes. Well, brother, you just got to make the right choice. You got to get... No. If a person's depressed, they ain't choosing to be depressed. Right? If a person is in a pit of miry clay, they can't get themselves out of it. Only God can. Right? And so in ministry, when we're ministering to people, we need not be frustrated with people if they struggle for an extended period of time. If we feel frustrated, we need to call out to God and say, Abba, I love this person and I'm becoming frustrated that their life still seems to be in this place. I need to commit their life into your hands. If there's any word I can give them, if there's anything I can do to walk with them and be of help, bring it forth in me. Right? Now our frustration will be lifted off. And then we have all day long for people. Right?
Yes.
That's the only way it can work. Yes. Right? We tend to despise people who suffer with depression and things like that. Yeah, right? It's a form of, well, they just must not be believing. I mean, we do it with people who are poor. Well, they must not be tithing.
That's right.
If you're having to find the first thing, you come to the pastors with financial troubles. Well, have you been tithing? Let's bring out the books and see. And so we immediately think it's as if they're not doing something they ought to be doing.
Right. When you were talking about the frustration, I felt that and wrestled with it, and I knew, man, I was encountering it again with someone, and I just had that point where I went, there's something not right with me in this. And I remember just not even addressing that situation because it was like I became very aware the problem was me. The problem was my heart was not right in this whole matter. And I walked around, just like, God, fix me. And I remember that 6-7 hours later, I run into this person, and what came out of my mouth was, the Lord is the one that keeps you. I mean, it's not, I mean, I was like, yeah, that was good. I mean, I realized right then and there, it's not my work. It's like, all I have to do to rest now is, God, show me your hand on them. That's all I need to see. And I'm no longer frustrated with what's going on. I mean, I can say, man, I know God's hand is on you. And that allows me to rest.
Yep.
You've released the burden that you were carrying.
It allows me to rest and know, Dad, you got him.
And you can recognize there's nothing wrong with you either.
Right.